Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is snowing across the area. There's no doubt about that. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you to kind of give you an extended update on what we're seeing right now with this brief snow event, where it's going to go, what it'll mean for different parts of North Carolina, and what it'll mean for us right here in the Triad, and kind of our impacts going forward over the next couple of days. Obviously, this has been a tricky one to nail down exactly where it would position itself, but seems like we've got it figured out now. The snow has started out in our area. It really began a little bit after 5 o'clock, and now at 7 o'clock, it's just kind of continuing. It is going to continue a few more hours, get us through about 10 to midnight for tonight, and in that time frame, anyone in the Triad, many of you already have, see a coating of snow to maybe upwards of 1 inch of snow in some spots, especially areas south and east of Greensboro. Now for the state of North Carolina, it's going to be a big snowstorm, especially as you go farther off to the east, places like Wilmington, the Outer Banks. We'll get to them. They expect a lot from this system. Want you to be flexible here. Roads certainly can get slick pretty quickly, even with a little bit of snowfall. Haven't seen too many traffic problems yet. That's good. I think people have been pretty cautious considering our memory with the storm just a couple of weeks ago, but so far so good. We hope that continues across our area. These are the winter weather alerts, and it might be a little confusing, but let me show you what we have. The pinkish shade is a winter storm warning. That means you're going to shut down. That's kind of what that means in those areas. The pinkish color covers all of eastern North Carolina, all of South Carolina. Now the purplish color here is a winter weather advisory. For our area, the threshold for that is 1 inch. They kind of think we can handle about 1 inch of snow or less. We're not expecting much more than that in the Greensboro area, so we don't have that. They do from Raleigh to Charlotte and farther off to the south. But the crazy thing about this storm is where it has been. It's been all over the south. The deep south getting enormous amounts of snowfall from Georgia to Florida, Alabama, and over to New Orleans as well. Hard to believe. This is the latest live radar. We're looking at this at about 7 o'clock this evening, and always want to remember you what colors you're looking at when we show this. The whitish, bluish color here, that's snowfall. The white indicates lighter snow, the darker blues indicating heavier snow. And that's really what they're seeing now in the Florida Panhandle, all the way down to South Georgia, Albany down there, Macon down there, over to Charleston and Columbia, South Carolina, and parts of North Carolina. Now the rain is indicated by the green, and that pinkish color indicates a little bit of mixing or some sleet, which could be an issue closer to the North Carolina coast. Along the Gulf Coast, this is where it's been an amazing storm, and one that people really haven't seen before. From Houston to New Orleans, over to Panama City, places like Biloxi, Mississippi in between there, Mobile, Alabama, places that don't get snow often, just got dumped on, literally dumped on. New Orleans picked up around 10 inches in parts of the city. And now for us, we're just going to get a pretty wimpy snowfall around here. The last light in New Orleans right now, the sun is about to set. If you look carefully, look at all that snow in the foreground. And yes, that's palm. Those are palm trees that you're seeing kind of swaying in the breeze there as they get a little snowfall with that storm about to exit the area. Our radar here has been a little bit difficult to see much of anything throughout the day today. Kind of what happens with a winter storm is you have all this moisture moving into the area, and the air is very, very dry. So throughout most of the day today so far, those snowflakes kind of come down and they evaporate before reaching the ground. Once we got to around 5 o'clock, that stopped happening. We started to get some real snowfall, but you can't tell the difference on radar, so it's not super helpful. What I can tell you is the back edge is right about here. It's already stopped snowing in Winston-Salem, and we're going to start to see that line moving a little bit closer to Greensboro and the rest of our area through the rest of tonight. Meanwhile, at the coast, this is New Bern, North Carolina, someplace where snow is, well, just not all that common. But you can see, not only is it coming down, it's also really windy over there. This is near the airport. You can see in the foreground that snow coming in basically sideways in New Bern at the moment. Now here we are back here in the Triad. I want to start this camera view at 4 o'clock when we had no snow across the area. As we hit play, you'll notice the visibility starts to change. You're first going to notice it in Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, then Burlington. That's the snow falling, but look, it's already stopped in Winston-Salem. The back edge got there by around 6 to 6:30. You only had about an hour's worth of snowfall over there, and so you didn't get all that much. The rest of the area, we're going to continue to see some of these snow showers through now, 8, 9, and probably 10 o'clock as well. This is our Futurecast model, which is not totally right on the money. This is a tricky storm for us because we're right on the edge of getting no snow and snow. Yadkin County, Stokes, you got no snow. Winston, you got snow for a brief little time. High Point, Greensboro, getting plenty of snow. So is Lexington, Asheboro, and Burlington. I would expect you get a little bit more. Raleigh gets a little bit more, and so on and so forth. This is 10 and 11 o'clock here. We should really be about done by 11 o'clock across our Piedmont Triad area. And at that point, it's all about how much is on the roads, how can the crews get a handle on things overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. Even if it's only a light amount, it's going to be a tall order because of how cold it is outside. Now for tomorrow morning, temperatures will be starting out the day in the teens. We're talking about right there around 12 to 15 degrees across our area. Now the sun, I should say, will be coming up. It'll be a beautiful day, but it'll be a bitterly cold day of weather. We're stuck in the 20s all day long yet again for tomorrow on your Wednesday. Snow totals for our area, again, we haven't changed this all that much over the last couple of days, but we've wobbled it around a trace to an inch. Seems to be most likely for us. As you go farther off to the east, this is where you get those big blockbuster totals. If you have friends, family over there, they should check with the local sources, but as far as I can tell, about 4 to 6 inches is likely across the Outer Banks. They are going to get a big storm out of this thing. Same thing goes for the Emerald Isle area, the Crystal Coast, down to Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune as well. New Bern gets about 4 to 6 inches. Wilmington, they could end up with 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches of snow. Raleigh, probably closer to 1 to 2. And then around here, about a trace to an inch. It is an impressive gradient. What I mean by that is a big change over a small area, tightly packed together. There's a big difference depending on where you are in North Carolina with this one. And it's opposite. Usually our biggest totals are up here and the lowest are over here. This is a flip-flop storm. Last storm we had, it was 5 inches up in Mount Airy, much less down to the south and east. This one is flipped around. But again, Winston-Salem, you got what you got, probably just a little coating over there. Greensboro probably ends up with about a half an inch or so. Burlington, Asheboro, Troy have a good chance to end up with close to 1 inch of snowfall with this system. Now, what is all causing this? We have high pressure to the north and this bitter cold air mass, which we've talked about for a length of time. About the last week or so, we've been telling you how cold it was going to be. All the air in place right now started on the other side of the North Pole. It actually began over in Siberia, moving across the North Pole, plunging into the U.S., and all the way down to the Gulf Coast. All you need to do at that point, and this is a hard thing to do, is to create a low pressure area with a lot of moisture. Over the last couple of winters, we have not been able to do this when cold air is locked in place. Right now, we have the cold air locked in. We finally were able to get low pressure with moisture, and it was so far south that the Gulf Coast actually got the sweet spot with this one. Notice how as the low pressure area kind of moves along, it kind of sidesteps, goes over to the Atlantic. It's really going to pound these areas in eastern North Carolina, but at that point, we're too close to high pressure, and that's going to keep the good moisture away from us. High pressure has that sinking air, which dries us out, and we're going to be stuck with, well, just cold and dry going into the rest of the night tonight and tomorrow. It is sunny out there, but boy, is it a frigidly cold day by our standards. And we'll have high temperatures only in the 20s for tomorrow. Well, snow continues the rest of the night tonight through about midnight or so. Most of us will see it shut down a little bit earlier than that. If you don't have to be out the rest of the night tonight, I wouldn't recommend it. Why? Well, the roads are already slick in many areas. They're probably going to get worse, and it's all to do with our cold weather. Hey, a little tidbit for you, by the way. We had a high temperature today of 23 degrees. That is our coldest daytime high temperature in 10 years. You have to go all the way back to 2015 to find another day that was quite that cold all the way along. Overnight lows for tonight should be right there between 10 and 15 degrees. That's the air temperature. And when you factor in a little bit of wind with that, it is going to feel a bit tougher outside. Our wind chills will be in the single digits for tomorrow morning. It feels like about 3 in Greensboro at 6 a.m. Feels like 9 in Asheboro. And then throughout the day, even in the afternoon, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. Thankfully, we have sunshine, but but it's still going to be tough to take outside for your Wednesday. And we continue the cold through your Tuesday as well. Here's your daytime planner for tomorrow. I see all sun all the time. So areas that got the good snow, you're going to have slick roads. If you're in Stokes County or Yadkin or Mount Airy or probably Winston, your roads should be fine, honestly, because you didn't get much snowfall. But the rest of us, we're going to be shoveling out, and those roads are going to get compacted, and it will be an icy, slippery mess probably for a couple of days. You can see why, looking at bitter cold temperatures continuing through Thursday. That's our News 2 weather impact alert through Thursday morning. After that, we warm it up a bit into the 40s for Saturday and close to 50 by Sunday afternoon. That's your storm update. We're going to have more updates for you on WFMY Plus throughout the evening. We'll see you the next hour.